the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour with your hosts, Joe Bob and AJ Applegarth.
Touchdown! All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me as sort of usual
today
is AJ Applegarth. What's up, man? Welcome back.
I don't remember the last time I was on.
I don't either.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks, man. But glad to
It's
have
been
you
since
back.
Nam.
Do you like to put your sweaty balls in coffee?
What is wrong with you? All right, you're fired. Mike, get on. Be camera ready. We out. No. All right, so
I'm never camera ready.
I mean, are
and
we?
I'm never camera shy.
Anyway.
All right, let's go. I don't even know.
I can't even talk. All right, so tonight we are going to talk about the big injuries that we had from last week. Bunch of guys hit the IR that are very, very fantasy relevant, and it's going to make a big impact now that the playoffs are right around the corner. Then we'll discuss the injuries here and pretty much call it that. It's going to be a good discussion regardless. So before we jump into that, though, let's remind you guys to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave those comments, leave those reviews. We appreciate it. And, of course, also, guys, playoff time is here. Crunch time is here. You cannot make a bad decision. Get all the help you can get by joining the Fantasy Six-Pack memberships, fantasysixpack.net/plans. Just $10 a month the rest of the season. You get access to our award-winning rankings. I believe we've still got 3 guys in our rankings in the top 30 of the Fantasy Pros in-season rankings. We've got me and Nick also. I don't know how many people actually know about these, but Fantasy Nation, they do their own fantasy accuracy contest, and I'm in the lead on that one right now. I believe Nick is number 4. Some big names in that one too: Jeff Ratcliffe, Jake Seeley, Rob Wozniak, Rudy Gamble's over there. A bunch of big names that are attached to that one too. So a little bit different scoring system. They rank the PPR. Fantasy Pros does the half. They also have different scoring methods, calculations on how things go. So, but yeah, we're doing very well there. You get access to our DFS tools and projections, our betting advice, and then of course direct access to all of us on Discord. So you get to ask me, AJ, Mike behind the scenes here, Dave, Eddie, Mark, Keith. I could go on. We're all there. We're all ready to answer your questions, and we'd love to hear from you over there. So go ahead and jump in the conversation. And let's do beer of the week, man.
Beer.
All right, AJ, it's been a little while. What you got, man?
I am drinking. I believe it's pronounced Distill Brewery. I hope. If not, I butchered it. I apologize. But your beer is delicious. It is the Deadhead IPA West Coast style.
All right.
Yeah, I don't even know. It's like hippie-ish, bursting with psychedelic, hoppy, and fruity aromas. Yada yada yada.
All right.
6.9%. So, yeah.
Nah. It's kidding.
It's
all
tasty,
right.
though.
So I went to the store today, bought a couple newbies for me. This one is, I've never had a beer from them before. It's called New Anthem. And I should probably tag Keith on this one somehow because I believe it is a Wilmington, North Carolina brew.
Nice.
So right down near his hometown of Raleigh. This is the Clapback Double IPA. It's I guess it's Strata primarily hopped. So it's the Strata version of it. First time I've had it. Haven't had a sip yet. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, that's tasty. That is good. That's
Do I need to give you a minute with your beer? Mike, hop on. Just going back to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'll give that a 4. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. Yeah, just throw the crazy drunk picture of the stork or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. All right, Thursday Night Football game update. Tennessee, Green Bay, hot off there. We're not dead yet. Win against, what was it? Dallas? It was Dallas, wasn't it?
Yeah. Against the Dallas Cowboys, we're going to roll over and play dead.
Yeah. I don't know the score. I actually don't have the game on, so that's my update. These two teams are playing.
I'm glad you led
1-1 last week.
I'm glad you led that segment, man.
I was trying to bring
participation.
It
is 14-6. Derrick Henry has 48 yards and a touchdown. Tannehill has 127 and a touchdown.
I know.
And I believe the waiver wire darling pickup, Christian Watson, also has a touchdown. But yeah, he only has one catch for 14 yards. It just happens to be a touchdown. So
it was also a free play too. So I mean, it almost didn't count.
I missed it. But yeah, it's one of those like, yeah, you just
cool. We can practice playing.
But basically, this game has been all Tennessee. They are playing, control the ball, keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, and it's working. Because Rodgers and company, they have nothing. I mean, they're lucky to even have those 6 points, to be honest. But I'll tell you what, the thing that's kind of eye-opening here is Treylon Burks, man. 6 for 60. Now, he does have a 43-yard catch, but still, hey, with the guy coming off the IR, second game back, that's you like to see that from those guys. So, all right, man. So let's jump into some injury talk, and unfortunately, it is going to be the lead segment of the show. Yeah. Usually, we like to talk about some strategy, but this is where there is some strategy involved with this, right? So we've got a lot of big name players that have hit the IR right before playoff time and crunch time here. And I apologize. I saw these comments earlier and completely forgot about them because we moved on. We started talking. But Bob Dole here is, do you think Murray will play? I'm assuming you mean Kyler.
Stay tuned and find out.
I mean, I think honestly we don't know. Like both him and Colt McCoy are practicing. That's all we know. Unfortunately, they're both questionable. I think, for me, and it sucks because in the one league where I've got Kyler, it's a 14-team league, so there's just nothing at quarterback that I would be like, oh, absolutely, I'll just play this guy over Murray, and like even if Murray plays, it won't be that big of a loss. I mean, I'm looking at guys like I could have played Tannehill tonight, maybe I could play Andy Dalton. I could play, jokers like that. Or I can just wait and hope that Kyler Murray plays, and I've got Colt McCoy on my bench. So I think, it is dependent. I think you got to look at like the types of players you can pick up and maybe play in place of Murray just in case, because they are Monday night. So that's the tough thing. You either have to have one of those Sunday night quarterbacks as a backup plan. So if you can somehow grab a Garoppolo, if you can grab Garoppolo, I would wait. Grab Colt McCoy, I guess wait. If you're looking at maybe a Marcus Mariota, I might just go ahead and pull the trigger and just play Marcus Mariota, because honestly, if your only backup plan is Colt McCoy, then you're saying Geno's your backup. Yeah, he's on bye. That doesn't work. So you've got to look elsewhere. You're gonna have to have a backup plan. You gotta pivot and find. You got to at least have a pivot just in case Murray doesn't go. But I think it sounds like in your situation, you're probably having to just stash McCoy and just hope that Murray goes, because if McCoy plays, we know it's not going to go very well, especially against San Francisco. So, all right, so let's jump into these other big injuries here, and let's get our thoughts on it, AJ. So Cooper Kupp is obviously the big one, the biggest one, right? Got rolled up on early in the game, high ankle sprain, placed on IR. I mean, they're saying he could return, but it's not going to matter for your fantasy league at this point. You know, I mean, my feeling is this Rams season is lost, and they're not really rushing it back.
Yeah, there's not really a reason to. I mean,
yeah,
if by the time his best case is coming back in week 15, which would be the minimum, but high ankle sprains are not typical. Ankle sprain.
They're saying 4 to 8 weeks. Yeah, it's a typical. It's like a 4 to 8 week, depending on the severity of it.
Longer
definitely
recovery.
is.
Luckily for him, it's he's a spry small receiver. Jordan Davis of the Eagles is suffering from the same thing right now, and he's like 300,000 pounds. So it's going to be a lot of stress going on his ankle there.
But he's also, but the thing with Kupp, right, is he strives on being, being able to cut and make those quick moves. And you're not going to be able to do that if your ankle's not right. But so my question to you, just so that we can move us along here, who is the biggest beneficiary? I mean, we've got Allen Robinson, who, now is going to be the de facto wide receiver 1. Ben Skronik. We got Van Jefferson, who just returned off IR.
Yeah.
Who do you like to kind of, be the biggest beneficiary? And I guess the secondary question would be like, do you trust any of them?
Do I trust any of them? Not really. Because Stafford is also injured, dealing with the concussion. It seems like he's trending upward though. So he should play this weekend. I mean, I'm interested to see if they're going to put A-Rob in the slot. And if they do, I would kind of lean my trust towards him a little bit more. We've both
it's got to be Skoronik's job, him, right? I mean,
I guess, but if they're gonna leave him on the outside, they got to put A-Rod in there, or A-Rob, sorry. But honestly, the biggest beneficiary is probably Tyler Higbee. He's he's got a comfort level with Stafford. He's been a pretty reliable tight end this year.
How many more targets this dude gonna get though, man?
I mean, if it's the only place that they can go?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't like this team at all this year. And I've suffered with them because I don't have any Cooper Kupp shares. So everyone else that I owned has been pretty much hot garbage. So
yeah, I'm with you. I don't really trust anybody to start this week unless you're, bye week desperate, which a lot of us are. This is a pretty rough bye week. Jacksonville, Miami, Seattle, Tampa Bay. There is a lot of fantasy friendly names on those 4 rosters, which was probably not something we were saying, coming into the season. I mean, Jacksonville, we were like, well, maybe. Seattle, well, maybe. Tampa and Miami, we were like, yeah, I mean, at least the receivers. But now, like, Seattle just, loaded. Jacksonville's got at least, ETN. Miami just loaded. And then Tampa still, you got those receivers, right? So, like, yeah, it's a bad week. So everybody's hurting this week. So my thing is, like, if, I would take a chance on Skoronik or Jefferson. I think Robinson's still probably rostered in a lot of leagues. But I would take a chance on him. I'm not starting them this week unless I'm desperate. So that's kind of my quick take on it. And I actually mentioned that briefly in the in the touches,
Bonds
targets,
banter.
and snap count article that I do that went out on Tuesday morning. So you can go check that out on Fantasy Six Pack.
Got it. All right. So next up here, and this is the other big fall that is a definite. Well, there's always next year for this one, and it's Mr. Zach Ertz. Exited the game in the first quarter after his first catch. And now he's going to be out for the rest of the season with this knee injury. So definitely a big blow to Arizona. We were already talking about Murray being banged up and I guess Colt McCoy. Hopkins just came back, so he's been playing pretty well. But Ertz has been the target hog for this team. Mostly because Hollywood Brown went down. He should be coming back this week. He's at least practicing, so good sign there. But this is definitely a big blow to this team, and Arizona, I guess, ultimately needs to find a replacement. Rookie Trey McBride, is that who you like here, or do you just think he's gonna be kind of a periphery guy, and then it's just going to go back to the receivers?
I think it will just go back to the receivers, honestly. We saw maybe the game plan it a little bit better and get Trey McBride involved. But I'm not holding my breath there. I want to go elsewhere. You got to remember, Trey McBride's still a rookie, so rookie tight ends tend to struggle. And I think, if Hollywood can get on the field, that's going to help out a lot. Then you've at least got the three-headed duo with Hopkins, Brown, and Rondale Moore. So that will ease a little bit of the pain of losing Ertz. But Ertz is a huge piece of that offense, man. He really is. So it's a massive blow for fantasy managers. It really is. I had Ertz in one league, and to where he wasn't a juggernaut. He's not Kelsey. He was having a damn fine season, 4 touchdowns, caught 47 passes already. That's pretty damn good for a tight end right now. Tight end is a wasteland after Kelsey and Andrews. And of course, Andrews has been hurt. So this has been bad. So, I'm trying to think of what I go, and let's skip ahead here and AJ introduce the other tight end, and we'll just pair these together, because then we'll go after the next discussion here that we have.
Yeah, this one falls into the gone but not yet forgotten category of injuries that we've seen from week 10, and this is Mr. Dallas Goedert, Ertz's former battery mate. It's weird, to say the least, that both of these guys go out on the same week. The Goedert injury was it's his shoulder. It's more of a fluky thing because of the call or missed call that has just been beaten up across the entire Philadelphia sports talk radio this entire week so far.
Wait, AJ, breaking news. You can find love on a new dating site. Oh, gotta love the porn bots. Yes, they are commenting. They are here.
But
we've made it, AJ.
Is Jordan Love in the game? I'm confused now. I said I'm not watching it. So is something wrong with Aaron?
No.
Did he find love taking his position?
But anyway, Dallas Goedert. So he got hurt.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Dallas Goedert was taken down on a catch by the face mask pretty blatantly, but it was a missed call on the field. Another defender came in and hit him at, as his neck was, contorted, and he was falling to the ground, knocked the ball loose, fumbled it, and Washington recovered. So they reviewed the play to see if the recovery was a down by contact, which it was. But because of the rules of the NFL, they couldn't fix their screw up in missing the face mask call. And that was just one of many, many bad events that led to the Eagles getting their first loss on Monday. But this is a huge blow for this team. AJ Brown was beat up in this game a little bit as well, as dealing with an ankle injury. Devonta Smith, came out of the game or coming into this week. He's got injury issues, but Goedert's not just he's not there to be a blocking tight end, and the guys behind him aren't really seasoned tight ends either. So where do you think this one's going to go? Do you think they're going to try to lean more on the running game? Do you think that this is going to be receivers or other?
So
or the Jalen Hurts show? I don't
know. So honestly,
his best case return would be week 15 too, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, I think where we're gonna see this go is we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get Devonta Smith more consistently involved. AJ Brown's obviously gonna get his. I don't really like any of the other receivers. I don't think that's going to be a thing. So I'm not worried about that at all. I mean, you're the Eagles fan, but correct me if I'm wrong. The rest of the receivers are total garbage. I wonder if, they start mixing in and packaging in Kenneth Gainwell a little more. Again, nothing that I'm like, oh yeah, you got to get him off, the waiver wire or whatever if he's sitting there.
There's not really anything too waiver wire worthwhile from this team. I mean, Zach Pascal might get a few targets. The two tight ends, Jack Stoll and Calcutta, I think his name is the other guy.
I had it. I'll pull it up here in a second. Hang on, I can tell you. Calcaterra.
Yes.
Jeez, that's a mouthful. That's your quote.
Yeah. So, I think they're gonna get involved, but they haven't been involved yet. So it's like a new, a new thing that's going to have to happen in practice to really get a chemistry going there.
So this is why I wanted to put these two together, right? Look, we talked about, who's going to make up the slack on those offenses. But look, fantasy managers who had Ertz and had Goedert don't care about that. They need to find a tight end replacement because they probably didn't have one. Right. So they're looking at the waiver wire and, at this point it's Thursday. So you've probably gone out and found somebody, but just in case, let's get into it. So who are some guys that you were looking at picking up, and a name that jumped out to me immediately? I mean, yes, you could go after Stahl or McBride, but I think we just talked about them. Like, I don't think they're ready for that role yet. A guy that was probably dropped in a lot of leagues, and I was lucky enough to get in one, was Hayden Hurst. Because he was on bye, he was sitting out there.
Yep.
Which was shocking. I don't quite understand why he was sitting on waiver wires. I know he's had, not awesome weeks, but I mean, that's called
serviceable though.
That's literally called you're chasing points and on things like that, because he is still tight end 14 on the season. I mean, like, he's been okay, man. Like, another name that jumped out to me was Juwan Johnson. And he's super streaky. He's tight end or touchdown dependent for sure. But I mean, he got 7 targets last week. I'll go back to that if I'm desperate, and I have him in one because I got Goedert in one league, and I got Ertz in the other. So,
well, the big thing there is, Johnson was supposed to be kind of a stopgap for them while Adam Troutman was injured, and he's back, and he's got 4 targets, I think. Yeah, one target, 1 catch. In week 9 versus Baltimore, and 3 targets, 2 catches, 22 yards versus Pittsburgh last week. Now,
I mean,
that may not continue. He may get more involved, but for right now, it's Johnson's.
He's unfortunately going to be super touchdown dependent. If he doesn't score, he's getting you almost nothing. I mean, even though he had 7 targets, he caught 5. It was 44 yards. If he doesn't score, that's 4.5 points. I mean, PPR, that's great. And that's 9, but half, that's 7. Yeah, it's like
another guy similar to, the Hayden Hurst issue is Tyler Conklin. He was on the bye last week as well. Now, again, he's been pretty streaky too. He started out really hot and then cooled down and then had a huge game against New England. And didn't do anything against Buffalo. Then they had the bye, and guess who he plays this week? New England. So, I mean, if you're somebody who goes after fate and replay games, he might be a good option for you. But
Foster Moreau's still out there in a lot of leagues. I know he's not killing it, but again, you're in sort of that. It's unfortunate because you took Ertz and you took Goedert early enough in your drafts, but not, the Kelsey Andrews early, but early enough that it was you felt like it was a reliable tight end and it was working for you. But unfortunately, they got hurt. So you're left with the scraps. At this point, you're not finding Cole Kmet sitting out there who's just gangbusters right now.
Actually,
you're not, you're not.
I was amazed.
You're not, you're not. I mean. But maybe
that's not everywhere.
Maybe in you hope David Njoku can come back. Maybe not this week, but next week, and maybe you just stash him just in case. But there's just not a lot out there, man. Nobody really interesting enough nobody that's a slam dunk. Oh my god, it's got to be awesome. So, Bob's asking us our opinion on Derrick Henry, and so
just got a big screenplay.
Yeah, he's asking us our opinion on Derrick Henry in his last year of his contract. I mean, look, I think it's kind of just too early to tell. I mean, this guy's going to get paid somewhere, but I think every team in the world knows that this dude has a lot of mileage. And he's going to slow down sooner rather than later at this point. So I don't know if he's going to get,
maybe
some enormous contract. But I mean, he's a big dude.
He's massive, but he's cut. He's not
I get it,
like a freak.
But I mean,
he's not Eddie Lacy.
Good way.
Rumor is Seattle with his agent. I don't know. Seattle's got Walker now. I don't know if they're going to go pay.
They still got Rashad Perry, who is just always injured. Penny, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Penny's going to be there, but
now Derrick Henry threw a touchdown.
Jesus, you are 10 seconds ahead of me, but that's cool.
Nice.
But anyway,
so you're saying I should be watching this game.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it would be pretty dumb of Seattle, who has many other needs, to go out and pay Derrick Henry, right? When they've got Walker on a rookie contract. So that I really doubt that would happen.
He's a dual threat. He can throw and run.
Yeah, but they apparently Geno Smith.
Triple threat. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of it'll be very interesting to see where he goes. I mean, he will definitely be valuable wherever he goes. But you also got to remember, right? I mean, it's this Tennessee offensive line is been damn good. So you got to wonder there too. Like, I mean, what happens if he goes to like who's got a really bad offensive line right now?
Packers. That's not a good example, but
it is actually a good example. But yeah, I mean, I was gonna say them, but I was trying not to. I was trying to think of somebody else.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's
Pittsburgh's doing bad. But yeah, I mean, so it landing spot will be
Kansas City,
will matter, but I mean, it's still Derrick Henry, so he'll be ranked very high. But anyway, let's jump into last two players here, kind of big names that got hurt, and I'm gonna mix it up on you, Mike. So keep on your toes. Mecole Hardman, this one's today. Abdomen injury kept him out last week. They just decided to put him on the IR, and I wonder if this is just the Chiefs being like, "Look, we're gonna make the playoffs. We're just gonna keep you healthy. We're not gonna rush you back." Regardless, though, what's the impact of the Hardman injury on this team, AJ?
Not much.
Who picked up the slack as far as fantasy?
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey's still going to get his. I think that this bodes well for Kadarius Toney. It's a nice, what do you want to call it? Like a preview of what they traded for, because he should be the one to get more playing time from this. MVS is MVS. We know what he is. He's not great. Hasn't done a whole lot in this offense. CEH is like forgotten, so I don't really see him all of a sudden coming back into the fold.
Yeah, CEH forgotten, man. That's an understatement. Oof.
Gone
2 snaps last week.
Totally forgotten. Yeah,
absolutely crazy. He's never seen a player just completely fall. 4 snaps. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he had two targets.
Yeah, that's what it was. He had 2 targets, no rushes,
catch either of them.
4 snaps. So. Like what? I mean, he went from week 7 getting, not great, 32 rushing yards and a touchdown, getting some targets, to the next week getting 5 rushing yards, 2 targets, to zeros. Man. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, McKinnon could be interesting. I still feel like he's kind of already.
He's got his role. His role's not changing.
His role, is covered. So I just like Toney. I think he's, if he can continue to stay healthy and play, good ball with Patty Mahomes, definitely an upgrade over Danny Dimes. I like him. I think he's going to benefit the most.
Yeah,
just a little uptick.
I'm not the biggest Toney fan. I know he's got some talent, but I'm not the biggest fan of his. But yeah, I mean, with Hardman missing a few games here, he's going to see an uptick in targets. And don't forget, Juju's still questionable here. So especially this week, like
Juju could play, but
I mean, like, look, if Juju, well, we know Hardman's out, but if Juju doesn't play, then Toney's definitely going to see an uptick in targets.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty big there.
His DFS numbers should be pretty low. I've not seen it yet, but I'm guessing he's not a high-priced commodity this week.
Who, Toney?
Yeah.
I do not know. I have not looked at DraftKings yet. You're gonna make me log in, aren't you?
No,
Chris is gonna ping me for my number here. There we go.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, no, I mean
3,800, and I have no idea.
No, I mean he's also the Sunday night game, so
Oh,
it's not an easy.
yeah, then that's kind of that hurts a little bit.
Yeah, so it's not as easy to create, mix. I think it's basically, those aren't typically in the normal run of games, right?
No,
No, so
you're
you'd be
usually
playing.
getting like
So he'll be
Sunday, Monday.
highly rostered in showdowns, I imagine.
Yeah,
But I am kind of curious as to what his. I do now want to know what it would be for Sunday night. I'm guessing it would be showdown
just
captain mode.
Well, you could do that, or just pick it. That might be different pricing though.
Well, no, because it's only one. Oh, yeah,
it's
because you can do like the Sunday,
or
Monday
6
games or
people.
whatever.
Yeah,
But for showdown captain mode, he's 12,000. So yeah, that's really high. That's hard to really. Yeah, it's tough because the pricing is different when you have less games. So, but anyway, yeah, Adrian, I saw your comment. Yeah, go ahead and ask the question, man. We will answer it. Yeah, so I mean, it's obviously Tony. MVS gets a slight uptick, especially with Juju out. I mean, Mahomes is going to spread the ball around still, but I mean, it does kind of condense the targets to these few guys at least. If Juju's in, I think it's more Juju than MVS, and then Tony's third still. So there we go. But
I mean, MVS is limited practice today too, questionable with illness.
Kelsey,
whatever that means.
Kelsey all the way.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we do have a question from Adrian finally. So here we go. So I have Kupp, Boyd, Devonta Smith, Rondell Moore, Sutton, and Amari Cooper for running back. I have Chubb, Swift, Walker, Pierce. Since losing Kupp, I don't know what to do. Should I trade Pierce plus a wide receiver for an upgrade?
I don't know if you have to.
I would try to unload Swift. That's my opinion.
I would.
Nobody's taking Swift. Swift has been garbage, dude.
Yeah,
you're not going to get much for Swift.
Pierce is intriguing because he gets yards. He is not getting touchdowns. I would maybe think about Pierce and Boyd. See if you can do something there.
Pierce and Boyd because Chase coming back, or Pierce and Smith because Hollywood Brown is coming back. Those would be two that I would potentially do. But yeah, I mean, if you could finagle Swift in it, that would be phenomenal. But good luck.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you're still
Sutton,
okay.
After this
your
week,
running backs are
Sutton
strong enough with Chubb, Walker, and Pierce that I think you're really good. Obviously throwing one of them in your flex, as you're saying here, I could run three of my running backs. Your receivers aren't horrible. Losing Kupp is obviously a huge deal, but I mean, look, Cooper's been very good this year. I mean, last week it was awful again, but he's been more good than bad. Sutton should get an uptick with the Judy injury. Rondell Moore has been okay. Devonta Smith, as we said, should get an uptick. Boyd's been really good. It's not horrible.
Boyd
You're not like
serviceable with Chase there.
Yeah, well, that was also with Higgins banged up, and then Higgins came back and wasn't totally 100%. So I mean, there is a little you don't really know how that's going to play out. But yeah, I don't think you're in dire straits. You don't think you have to trade. But yes, if you want to package Pierce and I don't know, I would package either Boyd or Moore, or maybe you package Sutton to maybe like the Jerry Jeudy owner and say, hey, look, I got Sutton. What do you want? I don't know. Maybe that's what you do, because I just don't think Sutton's going to be great. As we know, that offense is pretty garbage. So good luck, man. We got another one here from Mo Diesel, Flex One, Robinson or IU, Half-PPR. I'll answer that one first. Flex One. So, but basically, just asking for receivers. So I'm going Ayuk. Pretty easy there. Should I trade Allen Robinson and Rashad White for Ayuk? I have Walker, Etienne, Evans, Brown, Henry. So you don't have Ayuk yet. You're asking if you should trade Allen Robinson and Rashad White for Ayuk. Walker, Etienne, Mike Evans, AJ Brown, and Derrick Henry. Yes.
I would.
Yes. I would. Well, yeah, because you're upgrading your flex pretty big for me, in my opinion. Ayuk's been.
You're upgrading your third receiver too.
He might not have to start 3.
No, I know.
Kind of what it sounds like. But I mean, Robinson's been pretty garbage, and I know, like, I think we all keep hoping he's going to be a thing, but would you rather have a guy who's had more good weeks than Robinson, or the guy that we keep hoping is going to have good weeks? I'd rather have, and I like White, but I don't know if he's going to like win a league for anybody. All right, one more. Edward Zhang here. I know this is a crazy question, but Pacheco or Swift is not a crazy question, man. It really isn't. Whoa, it has fallen on hard times for Swift, and in PPR, that's tough
Swift
because
is still
Pacheco gets absolutely nothing in the passing game.
Yeah.
That's at least where Swift makes it up, I feel like. So I'm still on Swift because he's involved in the passing game.
I would say see what happens Sunday, morning too, and see if never mind. KC is the late game.
KC is a Sunday night game. You gotta make a decision. I go Swift because of the PPR factor.
I agree.
So, alrighty. Last injury here. We don't have to harp on this one too much, but it is slight impact here. I think we can cover this one in like a minute. Khalil Herbert hit the IR with a hip injury. Believes it's not season ending, but I mean, let's be real. Bears aren't going nowhere, even though they've looked really good lately, but they lose to the Lions. So game over.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, what's your thoughts? So, there is Ebner, Treston Ebner, the rookie from Baylor, who a lot of people liked coming in, but got kind of buried on the depth chart, obviously.
Yeah.
So he's going to get some run. Excuse me. But do we think Montgomery goes back to just being that boring plotter, but relevant fantasy? You can just count on him getting 20 carries, type of deal. And if he falls in the end zone and gets you 70 yards, then you're solid.
I think he will. And I don't know if it's going to be as boring as we've seen because Fields has taken so much spotlight right now.
Well,
I still think
it hasn't been great even with Fields running like crazy.
Oh, I know.
For either one of these guys. I mean, their yards per carry is not good despite Fields doing what he's been doing.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying though. I think Fields is still going to be the main guy, but I think without Herbert there, I think we do see a little bit more out of Monty, and maybe it's just getting a few more reps is going to get him to break out a little bit. Hopefully, but I don't hate the idea of Ebner either. I did take a deep dive on him in a couple leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% would. I 100% would. These are the types of guys that, and look, I meant to do this last week, but so I'll do it now. The Lateral Show that's also on our YouTube channel here at Fantasy Six Pack, Herms and McLateral, they talked last week about some phenomenal topics. And so what they did, right, is they went through and started talking about gearing up for the playoffs, and we do the same thing, right? But they brought up a lot of the same points that we do. Guys, we got to stop holding on to these players that we just think are going to be guys, right? You got to stop holding out hope that, the second running back is going to be a thing. Just stop it. Go take your chances. This is when you just start rolling through your back end of your roster. If you're not going to use them, you're not going to start them, go pick up the next hot thing. You're not winning without your studs in the playoffs anyway, right? You playing some doofus because he's going to get you 4 points, 5, 6 points, maybe, as a backup, as opposed to taking a chance on like an Ebner possibly who could turn into Khalil Herbert, and Herbert wasn't great, but he showed plenty better than that kind of stuff. And, if Montgomery goes down, then Ebner's phenomenal, obviously. But there's just a lot. I mean, look, as much as I say I don't want Christian Watson because I don't really believe in him, he's another guy where it's like, say I got like Corey Davis on my bench. I'll take Christian Watson over Corey Davis at this point. Why not? Take the upside. That's the type of stuff. And those were the types of things that the lateral show that comes out, that drops Thursday morning, they were mentioning last week. And, they went through also some of these like injury guys, and they went through like the types of injuries and how it impacts players as they return and kind of the length of time it really takes for these guys to bounce back and really be good fantasy players. So be wary of the type of injuries too. So I really suggest going back and listening to last week's show. I have not, unfortunately, been able to listen to this week's to hear what they talked about. But I'm sure it's fantastic stuff. Those two guys are awesome. So, all right, man. So let's rip through the rest of these injuries and get going.
All right. So starting off with quarterbacks, we already touched on Arizona. Both Murray and McCoy are questionable. Murray dealing with the hamstring, McCoy dealing with the knee. Again, it's a Monday night game, and it's a tough opponent, San Fran. So look elsewhere if you can. Josh Allen is also a wait, why do I have him as Monday night game? Oh, whoops, that just copied. Never mind.
No, but Josh, they did move that game to Detroit.
Yeah, that's true. Josh Allen,
by the way, there was a hilarious ass tweet that came out about that game. He was talking about how much snow, and it was just like, Buffalo's supposed to get 6 feet of snow. Right?
Okay.
Devin Singletary, he's 5'7". I was like,
you can't tackle me if you can't see me, bitches.
Run through the snow. How funny would that be?
It's going to look like...
clearly, that's not how it works, but it's going to look still
like
funny to hear.
The old school Joe Montana football with blimp view on. Just see the little circle.
Yes. That was the stupidest view ever.
No, it was awesome on kickoffs because you could always return one for touchdown. At least I could. I don't know. But... anyway, all right, Josh Allen, questionable elbow. I don't see him not playing, but keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna play, but yeah, and he played pretty well last week, so there you go.
Yeah, Rams. We mentioned Stafford already. Concussion. He was full
Watson,
practice.
2 catches for 2 touchdowns. This bastard,
love it.
It's so bad. It's not even good. Oh my gosh.
It's so bad it's not even good. Thanks, John Madden. Stafford concussion, full practice yesterday. Wolford is dealing with the neck. He's questionable. Did not practice yesterday. I did not see what he did today, but Stafford's likely to play. And the last one I have here is Mr. Carson Wentz, still on the IR with this finger that he uses for...
Oh, but it don't matter.
Butthole.
It don't even matter.
It doesn't, because he sucks. He is
out
at least one more week.
Already announced Heineke's starting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, he deserves to.
He does.
we got for running back.
He's so fun to watch. All right, running backs here. Gus Edwards, limited practice Thursday, hopefully coming off the IR with that hamstring injury. So got to look out for that if you were hoping Drake was going to be a big thing. Gus Edwards will definitely cut into that, but I'm not going to just vault Gus up to the top either. Zeke, limited practice Thursday. Sounds like he's a go. I know Jerry Jones. That's Jerry Jones' boy, but man, coaches got to step in at that point and be like, no, dog. Pollard's way better at this point, but who knows? It may not happen. Leo Fournette. Who typed this crap? AJ. Hip injuries questionable. Did knock him out of the game last week, which is why Rachaad White is being discussed, obviously. So I like Rachaad White to be a thing, although they're on bye, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
again, who typed these notes? Mark Ingram, knee MCL, didn't practice Thursday, questionable. Do you know who the New Orleans Saints signed to their practice squad?
No.
I mean, he used to be an absolute juggernaut.
David Johnson.
David Johnson.
Whoa, that guy's still alive?
He still plays, apparently. Do you remember the last time we saw him play? He looked like he had he looked like he had the tackling sled tied to his back, dude. Like, it was bad.
Last time he played was for the Texans, who just picked up Eno Benjamin.
Yeah, I
did see that. All right,
that is a little interesting, but Pierce has been so good. I can't imagine Benjamin like really taking a lot of work from them. And then McKinnon, I think you already talked about him, so we'll move on for that one.
All right,
receivers.
We'll split this one up because there's a lot, but we've already talked about a lot of these guys. So Eagles are down right now. AJ Brown's dealing with an ankle. Devonta Smith is dealing with a knee. Both limited practice today and questionable. Jerry Jeudy, we mentioned, he kind of escaped being in the upper section of this show, dealing with his own ankle injury, but it sounds like he is questionable as well and could potentially play. Juju, we talked about concussion, did not practice today. Isaiah McKenzie was a new add to today, did not practice. He is dealing with illness, questionable. And DeAndre Hopkins, again, Monday Night Football game, questionable, dealing with hammy. He's Monday night.
So before we jump into that, though, I want to bring up another question here from Tanner Nelson. What running back should I trade Joe Mixon for? Full PPR. I mean, that's tough, man. Again, we talk about trading a lot on this show. Some of the preseason, just sort of like strategy. We talked about it last week too. Just sort of general tips on how to get trades done, right? And so, really, what it comes down to is, I mean, it's hard to do a 1-for-1 running back trade. I just don't. I mean, unless you're buying. I don't know.
I mean, why are you selling Joe Mixon?
Well, yeah. I mean, right now selling Joe. Well, coming off his 5-touchdown game, I don't blame you.
His schedule does get tough for the playoffs,
and then Chase is coming back, so maybe they don't lean on him as much. This week might also be good, but coming off a 5-touchdown game, I get it. You want to, because he really just hasn't been good this year, and so I don't mind selling him. The problem is, like, who are you going after, right? And because you could go after somebody who's maybe underperforming, and then you're hoping they come back. I don't know, like, would you feel comfortable trading Joe Mixon for Jonathan Taylor? Yes, he had a good game last week, but like,
I would.
He's been super underperforming this year. Would you want to do that? Like, outside of that, I mean, like,
that's a good one. I don't
know. Like, I mean, would the Dameon Pierce or the Kenneth Walker managers do a 1-for-1 swap? Maybe, but I feel like you're just kind of like swapping guys at that point. So trading a running back for a running back.
Trading just a trade.
Now, when I trade a running back for a running back, I want to trade like the guy who's
But
just
he's
balling out
PPR
for no reason
or full PPR. So
he sort of yeah.
well, no,
I want to
question
trade the running back who's sort of like overperforming, but Mixon's not overperforming. He's kind of
he's
doing what he should be doing.
performing-ish, but
yeah. So that's a tough one, man. That really is. You just got to evaluate teams and you get a feel for it. I
factor for passing. That's what
I know that's not the answer you wanted, Tanner, but that's really what it comes down to with that. So let me finish off here the wide receiver injuries. Marquise Brown foot, as we mentioned, he might be coming back. MVS illness, limited practice today. Curtis Samuel, shin, limited practice Thursday. Devontae Adams, an ab injury, limited practice. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, same old story, limited practice. Gotta see. They play Sunday night, so that's another tough one. I feel like we've got to get some pretty good news for me to trust either one of them. Justin Jefferson, a toe injury, limited practice. I haven't heard a whole lot of like negative things on that one, so I feel like it's probably fine. Wan'Dale Robinson, hamstring injury, did not practice Thursday, so keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, and we threw DeAndre Carter on here. He popped up today, questionable with ribs. The only reason we put him on
sorry,
because
I
of the other two.
Shrunk. I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And he was a limited practice today as well. But if the other two
don't get rid of those Josh Palmer shares just yet.
Yeah. just wait and to see what
keep in mind Gerald Everett's probably out this week. So
speaking of, we'll get to the tight ends here. Gerald Everett, groin, limited practice. Njoku, we talked about a little bit, ankle, limited practice. Cole Kmet, questionable with a thigh issue. He was limited practice today. And last but not least, Mark Andrews, fresh off of his bye week, questionable with shoulder issue. He was limited practice yesterday. I believe he may have been a full today, but I did not check that. So that is the injuries and basically the entire show. So let's jump into rankings review here. So again, this is where we get to grill Joe on his award-winning rankings for this week and see what the pop. All right,
bring it.
All right. So Justin Fields.
You're not even looking at me.
I can see you. Okay, I have very wide range of peripheral vision. See, I can see my hand. It's okay.
You see that?
Yeah. Justin Fields, back-to-back weeks of QB1 finishes. So explain why you have him as QB5, 2 spots below consensus this week.
Yeah, man. I just I know Atlanta's offense is awful, but I don't know if he's going or their defense is also as bad as their offense. But I mean, come on, let's be real. Who would you actually start ahead of or Justin Fields ahead of? Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or Jalen Hurts? Those are the 4 I got ahead of him. I mean,
maybe.
Does it make you feel a little better? Does it make you feel a little better that before those 2 QB1 finishes, he has a QB3 finish?
No. Like, it's still QB5. I mean, you're still starting him, like, let's be real. Like, I don't know. It's one of those, like, he's been good. I just don't know if he's going to have to do as much against Atlanta as he had to do against Miami and even Detroit. Atlanta's offense is not going to keep up
against Miami. Miami is a gold mine for every quarterback that plays against them.
Well, point, right, is that game script played a big factor into why Justin Fields still had to keep doing what he was doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And yes, it's rushing yards that really propelled him up there. But Miami, shootout. Detroit ended up being a shootout. Do we really think Atlanta's going to be a shootout? Like, can Atlanta do enough against the Bears defense, which I get, like, isn't good, but can it do enough against? They could barely do crap against Carolina's defense. I don't have the confidence that the Bears are going to have to, like, keep their pedal, their foot to the pedal and keep going for it. Play safe. Maybe it's more of a David Montgomery game in the end.
Well, you already poo-pooed that idea earlier.
Fields is going to get it. He's going to get it, and he's going to get it early. And then, they just start handing it off to, Montgomery. I mean, to rely on a guy to run for 120, 30, 40 yards every week at quarterback or any position, that's tough, man. So eventually it's just the bottom's just going to fall out. And, but again, QB5, I feel like that's
fair. I'd probably have him at 4 or 5.
Honestly, the one I'm actually considering dropping below Fields isn't Hurts. It's actually Lamar.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Lamar's looked pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
So, granted, right. We know his legs keep him in the game too, but he just hasn't looked good, man.
Yeah. All right. So last time, Mr. Russ cooking in the kitchen, Wilson, whatever his name, Big Russ, Big Truss, faced the Raiders.
Russ, I have Subway shits, Wilson.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a problem of your own.
I spit up my beard, man. I almost made myself laugh.
I mean, at least somebody's doing it for you. All right. Last time Wilson faced the Raiders, he finished as QB3. You've got him ranked way down at QB 14 this time around. Vegas, just in case you didn't know, allows the second most points to quarterbacks. Do you not see Wilson as a top 10 play this week? I mean, clearly you don't if you have him at 14, but
I do not.
Why?
I mean, I like the matchup for it. It just, I mean, he's had other really nice matchups. Jacksonville finished QB 21. I mean, the Chargers even was a fairly nice matchup. QB 15. It just, I mean, last week he threw the ball 42 times, still finished QB 21. Like, it's just bad. No Judy now. The run game just isn't helping him, so that's just killing him. I mean, look, I'm happy being wrong on this one. I just do not trust Russell Wilson to finish much higher than that position in the rankings. And honestly, if Kyler Murray suddenly becomes healthy, he will vault him, and Wilson will drop down even more. So,
I could see that. I will
it's
say
super hard to trust him. And look, man, I'll be honest. Tannehill's having himself a game tonight, man.
Yeah.
We got 282 yards and 2 touchdowns already.
It's like a career high for him.
Probably going to be better than Wilson when all said and done. So I buried Wilson or Tannehill in my rankings, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Okay. Moving on to
I'll be wrong on that one too.
Mike, you chiming in? You want to do the running back?
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
I can chime in on the running backs, then you can take the wide receivers then.
Cool, because I'm going to drink my champagne of beers.
I thought that was a high life. Oh, gross.
So on RBs, we got Jonathan Taylor, the consensus #1 pick for this year. Finally finished as RB1 last week.
Yay.
Is it safe to say that he's a set it and forget it player again, or are you still skeptical since you ranked him 1 spot below consensus at RB6?
Yeah, I mean, a little skepticism here. I mean, Philly's been good, and I still
against the run.
What?
What?
What did you say?
Okay, just go with your thought.
Not that good against the run.
Nothing good against the run.
Only it's because the Jordan
we'll get
Davis
back to
injury,
that.
though.
Well,
Since his injury, they've been
we'll get
taking-
back to that. Joe, carry on.
Anyway, I do now trust him a lot more with Matt Ryan back under center. And we talked about this before. We talked about this last week, Mike, that Ellinger sucks and he can't be trusted. And the entire offense was absolute hot, flaming garbage rolling down the street meme. And you can't do it. And so now with Jonathan Taylor back, you can trust him. I mean, I think 6 might be his ceiling at this point, which is sad. But, you know, the guys behind him haven't been super consistent either all season. Jacob's been up and down. Kamara's been down, up a couple times, down. Chubb's even struggling right lately. You know, not performing the way we wanted to. Stevenson's great, but you know, it's what like there's just a lot of guys like he hits that you get past the top 4 or 5 there, and then you look at it and you go, well, they're all kind of the same. So I'm gonna take Jonathan Taylor above all of those guys because I think overall he's the better talent out of all of them. And that's what you look at too sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I know Philly's been struggling against the run a little bit more. I mean, they just let Brad Robinson go crazy on him last week. Not crazy,
Right.
but
So
enough. Crazy enough.
sidebar about that. Damian
no.
Pierce.
Do I need to go find another
Yes.
beer? Jesus.
Probably. I don't know. We don't have another one already. Maybe if you didn't
No, I just
laugh yourself spitting out beer, then you would have not needed a second one. Pierce ran on the Eagles pretty thoroughly. The Redskins, the Commanders,
Anders.
the soon to be Bezos. They averaged like 3.1 yards a carry. It's not running on them. They were just able to keep their offense on the field because they were making third downs and they were shorter third downs because they were able to get 3 to 4 yards a carry. Not great. But yeah, the Davis thing is a big, you know, he was brought in to be our run stuffer and was. But again, the high ankle sprain is hurting. But that said, they played the crap out of Fletcher Cox, and he's complaining because he's tired and old and not worth $14 million. They signed Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh in the last 2 days. So
Ndamukong Suh. Wow. Yeah, he can. Yeah, he'll fill some snaps. That's a pretty good signing. I like it. All right, we got a question, then we can move on here from Z Killer. Drop AJ Dillon for Damian Harris. Sure. Dillon sucked. He has been, and he's not great.
Since week 1, Dillon has not been startable. So yes.
Yeah, it's been really bad for AJ Dillon. Dude, there was like a small glimmer of hope last week when we went 13 for 65, but he just didn't get in the end zone. But man, it's been pretty brutal. I don't hate it. You know, you just might have to wait another week for Harris. Anyway. Next question.
Next question. All right, this one's kind of a little bit more broad of a question, but I want to know your process. All right, with how the Chiefs running backs are being deployed, explain how you do this, you know, rankings process for you. You know, where are you putting them? Why are you putting them there? Because we all know this backfield's a mess.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is a
who's
complete
the guy?
mess. So basically, the order for the team is, for me, is Pacheco, McKinnon, and then CEH. Pacheco, because I think we're seeing that he is getting, he's getting all the carries, right? McKinnon, he's getting all of the passing work, at least lately. CEH, I mean, he's basically he's basically been knocked out of the offense, but Andy Reid will do some weird things, right? And maybe with a lack of receivers, he'll game plan CEH back into the game and screw us all over who are ranking him low. But CEH was kind of living off of red zone, dump down touchdowns. He wasn't running the ball into the end zone. He was catching the ball within the 5-yard line and running in. That was it. He wasn't going through the. That's Pacheco's job. Pacheco has outcarried Clyde Edwards-Helaire for many, many weeks. So I'm just playing the workload game with them, but I don't like any of them. I mean, where do I have Pacheco at 25? They're all outside of my RB2. So it's really hard to trust any of these guys.
That's fair.
Yeah, I agree. All right, receivers. Deebo Samuel finished as a wide receiver 52 last week. You've got him all the way up to wide receiver 10. Are you a little worried that CMC has capped Deebo's ceiling moving forward?
That is a very fair question. And when I originally did my process, Deebo was actually number 7, and I manually moved him down to 10. I very well can move him even lower. Deebo's just such a talent where he can break anything he gets to the house. So that's kind of why he stays up there. Because once you get past that top, especially this week with a lot of receiver talent missing, once you get past that top 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, I mean, the guys behind him, they're talented. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, the guys behind him, we're looking at Tyler Boyd, Cortland Sutton, Gabe Davis, Pittman, Ayuk, Devonta Smith, Cooper. I mean, it's really hard to sit Deebo Samuel behind those guys in the rankings, knowing that Deebo really is just the better player. So I get the concern with him. I really do. And I do agree that the CMC has, lowered Deebo Samuel or Deebo's ceiling a little bit. And that's why, earlier in the season, I was ranking him 5, 6. So I have lowered him. He's now 10. So hopefully he bounces
The question is, will it be far enough?
Yeah, it might not be, man. We might have to, lessons learned here. Might have to keep dropping him, but
all right. Donovan Peoples-Jones, the firm of law, finished 31, wide receiver 31 in week 8 by week, or week 8 by then week 9. Last week finished as wide receiver 26. Do you not trust him moving forward as a receiver 26 to 30 since you have him ranked all the way down at 38?
I like him as a flex receiver, especially if you have to start 3, but that's kind of as high as I'm going to go with him. He is a very consistent, steady receiver. 10, 8, 10, 12 half PPR points the last 4 games he's played. Fine. But he's not scoring touchdowns is one problem. So he's at like maybe you're going to say, oh, positive regression is in his favor, but it's just not happening. So he's got 0 touchdowns on the year. He's seeing plenty of targets. He also gets Buffalo this week. And, I know maybe you're thinking, oh, teams are going to, they're going to have to pass on him, blah, blah, blah. But like, this is going to be a weird game. Both teams traveling to not their home. And maybe that slightly puts the favor back to, slightly helps Cleveland. But I don't really think it matters, man. Like, I just, I think this Bills defense is good enough to be able to shut down a Donovan Peoples-Jones enough. But I mean, it's really close to where he's finished every week in the last couple of weeks. So I don't think I'm totally off here. That Miami game, I mean, they were getting blown out, so they had to pass the ball a crap ton. That's not their game. So
yeah.
I don't know if we're going to see 9 targets to Donovan Peoples-Jones a whole lot more
specifically for that game, and it was helpful. All right.
So last question, you guys.
Yeah, this one's going to be fun for you because I'm calling you out from a couple weeks ago.
Right.
A couple weeks, you said that you were out on Kyle Pitts as a top 10 tight end for the rest of the year. Explain why you have him 1 spot above consensus this week at tight end 8 and why you like him a little bit more than the public.
Oh, I actually think that was an error on my import. I just realized that I did this. I'm not going to lie. So I did this right before I cooked dinner and went to the Cub Scout meeting with my son tonight. And I'm looking at it now and I'm like, why the hell is Kyle Pitts number 8? That's
what I asked.
I actually remember sliding him down to tight end 11 behind Hayden Hurst, and it didn't save. So, I don't want to. Huh?
So
we did grill you. We did successfully grill you then.
I guess. I mean, I didn't realize that. I put him below. I put him below Hayden Hurst, and it didn't save for some reason. I don't know why. That's weird.
Yeah, so just tell the people who you would drop
when
him.
You found out.
So I had him.
Didn't save.
So I'm starting Hayden Hurst, Cole Kmet, Tyler Higbee, Greg Dulcich, Freiermuth, Schultz, Kittle, Hawkinson, Andrews, Kelsey, all above him right now. Moreau and Hill and Knox, Conklin. At that point, whatever. I mean, Chicago's bad, so take a chance, I guess. Maybe you get lucky. I don't know.
All right.
I don't. I mean,
speechless.
At that point in tight ends, man, like we talked about the tight ends earlier, like who you picking up? They all suck. This is nothing good out there, man. Like, what are you gonna do? Tight end is such a crappy position, man.
If somebody randomly dropped Kyle Pitts, that's a guy you should probably pick up. If anything, just to trade him for somebody else better.
Trade him? Who's trading for Kyle Pitts?
I don't know.
Nobody. The only reason why I would have picked up Kyle Pitts, AJ,
Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz.
Right. The only reason why I would have picked up Kyle Pitts is if I had lost Goedert or Ertz, and he was sitting there like,
that's what I'm
fine.
saying.
I'll take the chance on him now. Like, how much worse can it be?
But you find that guy in probably about 6 leagues across America.
Kyle Pitts,
owned
dude.
Wow. Goedert and Ertz and lost both of them and is now pining after Conklin, but got beat out by a $1 bid on his $0 bid. And
Kyle Pitts, by the way, is still rostered in 93% of sleeper leagues.
I know.
Don't
Kyle
forget,
Pitts is not out there.
You also got to find the guy who's a diehard Atlanta Falcons fan and a diehard Florida Gators fan.
Exactly. They are out there.
Anyway.
Their name is Steve Spurrier.
All right, that is it for the show, guys. We're rambling about Kyle Pitts for no reason, so we're going to stop. Good luck this week in week 11, and next week is Turkey week, so I believe we're going to be changing our show day.
Falls, Wednesday.
Probably Wednesday, right? So
Likely.
we will see you all then. And remember to hit that subscribe and like button, guys. Whatever you got to do. And subscribe to us on Fantasy Six Pack. Have a good night, everyone.
A turkey lurkey do.